Let's look at right and wrong as an evolutionary paradigm and suggest that what's right in one system will be wrong in another because the right and wrong continuum parallels with the intelligence continuum and the well-being continuum that every human being in the history of humanity has wanted to feel sustainably better and avoid feeling chronically worse. And every human being in the history of humanity has operated within a system. All systems begin with the sphere, but a 5-point relatively symmetrical system might look something like this, whereas a 4-point relatively symmetrical system might look something like this, and a 3-point symmetrical system might look something like this, where we divide the one, the whole, refract it through language, refract it through paradigms into a series of parts. In a polarity, it's 2 parts. But the evolution of humanity occurs by going through the entire circle in an iterative loop. If you think of human generations, you have the birth, the growing, the expansion, the dying, the death, the birth, the growing. You have the complete cycle of life is a loop. And that can be broken down as crudely as birth and death, or it could be, birth, growing up, and death. Or you could note every single second of every single day, and have a 10 billion system set of distinctions all the way around the circle. The main problem being that the human mind has trouble grasping systems that are much bigger than 7, 8, 9, 10 different distinct parts. And so we're always trying to make a system simpler. But right and wrong is relative to that goal to feel sustainably better. That by sustainably, we mean better for us and others, better for us and the ecology that is our host body. And so to get sustainably better, there is a right path. And if you think of the circle, for example, and the in-breath and out-breath. So I take the breath in. It's actually a circle. It's not just breath in, breath out. It's the entire journey in and the entire journey out. Now, within the system of my lungs, there is a necessary and right next step for sustaining life, for moving towards sustainable well-being, and it's called an exhale. And at the end of the exhale, there is a right and necessary next step in the process called the inhale. That is the right path. Now, there are some systems that, you're trying to get over here, and you're starting down here. So you need to get from here to here. But many systems have been convoluted, corrupted, etc. And so they're not pure systems, they're not complex systems, they're crude systems. And so you have to get to the general area rather crudely. Whereas there are other systems that could do it more gracefully in a series of small steps that can go through here, go through here, go through here. But if your only step, if your level of sophistication is to choose between, going this way or going this way, and the well-being is facilitated more by going this way, then this way becomes the right way and this way becomes the wrong way, relative to what is assumed. That since every human has sought and wanted sustainable well-being, that if they're going in the direction that will create unnecessary suffering for themselves, their planet, and those around them, that this is the wrong way, and that the right way is to turn around and pursue the path that will create well-being for self and others. So in any given model of reality, it's first of all important to know they're all models, so none of them are ultimately real. But in any given model of reality, there are going to be some right things to do. Well, there's going to be some things that are within the model that are going to produce more sustainable well-being, and there'll be some things within the model that will produce less. However, the thing that was right, if you take a square point model and you're coming along here, then the right thing is to take a right and go down here. And then the right thing is to take a right. And the reason you continue this movement is you're taking yourself through the entire circle. It doesn't work. It stops life usually to go backwards. If you think of the breath, if you do an exhale and then you try and exhale again, it stops life. You've got to complete the circle, complete the circle, complete the circle. However, this is within a 4-point, rather crude system. So the circle is the most profound shape in all geometry because it's both an infinite number of lines, an infinite number of dots that make a circle, and it's one. It's the polarity in one. Now, the reason the circle is used for transportation in cars and trains and planes and all of that is because it is the most elegant. It's the most symmetrical. The sphere is the most symmetrical shape that is possible in geometry. And because of its symmetry comes grace. If a square tire was rolling around, it's very bumpy. So you have ease and higher levels of well-being the more sophisticated your system while maintaining its symmetry. And the ultimate sophisticated system is the sphere with an infinite number of lines. So what's right in a 4-point number system is wrong relative to a 20-point system. So if you can choose, if you're at this juncture, over right here, and you can if you can choose between going a right angle or a more gentle angle, the gentle angle is more correct. It's more aligned with the science of grace and energy conservation. This is, the 4-point system is cruder, and it's better than going backwards on the 4-point system. So every system that there is in a given environment can be ranked for intelligence. How much time, money, and natural resources does this system consume to generate how much sustainable well-being? So no system is perfect. But if you're using a very crude system and basically consuming a lot of energy to deliver relatively little sustainable well-being, then upgrading to a grace to a more graceful system, a more complex system that is more intelligent and delivers higher yields, is going to be more right. It's going to feel more right. It's going to be more right. And so right in this sense has an objective standard of delivering sustainable well-being for self, for others, and for the ecology that is all of our host body. That's the more right way. And so, is this right or is this wrong is really a relative question. Relative to what? Relative to the available options within the available paradigms and working of reality. Because you've only got, within the conscious mind, the available paradigms in your cult. You know, if in your cult you have a shaman, and a shaman without any physical side effects can alleviate a depression or a distress and anxiety in a 5-hour ceremony that wasn't alleviated by 20 months of medication, well, then 5 hours versus 20 months, massive side effects versus no side effects, meaningful experience versus just chemicals in the body. It's a no-brainer. The shaman is providing in that model of effectiveness, within this particular model where the shaman actually cures it in 5 hours, then going to see the shaman is a more right and intelligent thing than getting on prescription medication for 20 months that dulls your creativity. However, if your model is kill yourself or seek medical attention, then in that model, the medical prescription for 20 months is superior to killing yourself. And if another energy healer or a lucid dream, so you had to walk over to the shaman and do the 5-hour session and not take care of your baby that day because you were doing shamanism, but you had a lucid dream, and in the lucid dream, a shaman visited you and you woke up more refreshed and didn't take any time. Well, that's a higher level of intelligence still. It's more right. And it'll feel more symmetrical and true, and this is the way it needs to be if you get closer and closer to grace, which is going symmetrically in the right direction in more and more complex systems. That's what being right is. It's relative to wrong, which is to create unnecessary pain and suffering for yourself, those around you, and your ecology. All knowledge begins with a paradigm, and out of that paradigm comes an idea, an awareness that we adopt, reject, or synthesize into something better. It doesn't become wisdom, it doesn't become useful until we take action, until we integrate it into not only our thoughts, but our feelings, our body, our words, and our way of being. For that to occur, we have to move from the passive media paradigm into more active engagement. In the link below, in the More Information section, is an invitation to join a very small, deliberately filtered, high-quality discussion with a group of people who share a common language and want to work with these ideas, with me and with one another, with the sole goal of creating 10 times more sustainable well-being for ourselves and those around us per unit of energy invested. Thank you for watching.